Time is now. It's back to the rhymes. It's like, wow, he's back to the rhymes. I'm in the blue straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent daily plant the metropolis times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back. Back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut, rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because back to the rhymes. It's back to the rhymes. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I got my list behind me. Sorry. I just couldn't figure out what I did there. Still rearranging stuff down here. But let's start at the top. Okay. So, the album, School Us. No updates stream wise, but the hard copy, we don't have any sales for the week. Okay. Thought I might be able to make an offer today, but didn't happen. Number two, country song. I don't like Sunsets much, or really All Night Last Night, something like that. We're approaching a new year. That means I got to make hay, as I mentioned, in the first 6 months of this year. Do as much as I can relative to the second. I don't ever have a bunch of time, but I have more time. And so let's see what I can do. So I'm just really, like I said, I'm still waiting. I want to get through this week. We have New Year's. That means we're going to have probably a difficult day Tuesday. Last Tuesday wasn't terrible. The day after Christmas wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Could have been worse. It was much worse the day after Veterans Day, the 2 days after Veterans Day, much worse, I'd say. The Monday after the Monday prior, this is at the post office, was much worse than last Tuesday after 2 days off. So one day off, I mean, it was just interesting to observe, and I'm learning how to track that better. But anyhow, so we're starting to see things calm down. I get a daily report, essentially, how many packages I need to deliver, how many scans I need to make. And so like yesterday was 80. I had a day, not last week, but the week before was 223, I think. That was the all-time high for me since doing this route. So all those things matter. And if we could come down like that, like yesterday, much better, much better. So we'll see. The person who does our schedule might be on vacation. That changes things again. I just want to flow. I want a base. It's kind of like if you want to launch a rocket, you need a solid platform to launch off of. And my platform's all, I can't build it, make a solid platform to launch the rocket. So, but again, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, what, you're going on vacation? Great. So when you come back, it's going to change again, right? Anyway, so like I said, this week's kind of going to get thrown out. And start next week, have a couple weeks, and we have Martin Luther King Day. That messes up that week. Then we have another week or two, and we have President's Day. That kind of messes up that week. Then we have a time, really the golden period, the best period at the post office for uninterrupted is from President's Day to Memorial Day. We have no vacation, nothing, straight up regular work. Let's just see how it goes. So everything up to President's Day is kind of practice trial runs. But once we hit President's Day, get through that, through Memorial Day, let's just see how it goes. That's what I want to say. Okay, you will be glorified. So my coworker, wonderful lady, her friend, Japanese. So my coworker's from Korea. She said her sister is. She calls her sister. Is like from Japan, sister in Christ, but also maybe just feel like that kind of bond. So she has a YouTube channel, and she plays. She didn't know the name of it. A Japanese wind instrument. It's a koto. I don't want to be wrong on that. No, that's string, right? See, I don't want to be wrong, but forget what I said. Anyhow, whatever it is, she's got a YouTube channel. I'm interested and anxious to hear, and hopefully see, whatever. It'd be great to fellowship, and if there's more we can do, great. Just the fact she has a YouTube channel. I mean, if I think about even at church, I can think of one other person, maybe another, but really no one active right now on YouTube besides myself making videos that I know of. Could be, but I just don't know of any. Yeah, I don't know everybody. So anyhow, that's cool. So we'll see. But I think they do vocals, or she does vocals. Her friend sings too. So I don't know if that's in English or Japanese or what. So I'm gonna be finding out about that too. So that was cool. And really, the ball got rolling. I just asked her, how's New Year's in Korea compared to say Japan, where it's a much bigger day. Christmas is nothing. They don't pay it any attention. But in Korea, I guess, if you're a Christian, you pay attention to Christmas, but if you don't, no big deal. It's New Year's. And in China, they have a whole separate New Year's, right? All these things are interesting, and it's a great way to, get to know her on a little deeper level than just as a coworker. Anyhow, YouTube channel. So content-wise, I was prepared for. I thought something was going to go down today. Content-wise, it didn't go down. Didn't happen. And all I'll say is communication still happening, but not strong communication. I'm not really all that excited about how things went down, but I guess maybe this fella got a little overcommitted and couldn't get out of it. Let's say. For me, it's hard because I'm very busy. I can't just drop what I'm doing. This fellow here, he's in between work right now, waiting to get relocated, I suppose. So anyway, it's a missed opportunity. I'll say that. And we'll just see what happens. I'm very interested in his story, but if his story never gets told, that interest is only has so much potential, right? At least if it's not told and heard here, for me at least. Okay, so that changes the game plan. Therefore, now I go back to Better Bread, volume 12. My man, Tom's artwork. You made the big time, Tom. The small time. Anyhow, so that was my plan B, because realistically, I got more control over that happening. So that's New Year's Day tomorrow. I'm going to make it. I got that as my album cover, and then I have a handwritten credits. That's going to be the back album, and that's it. And I'll share it 100 times. And so it's interesting because I have to be mindful of who do I share the content with, and it's obviously based on, well, what I was going to do was related to politics. This is related to music, so it's a different demographic, So that's changes it. But that's the plan. And like I said, it should happen. And it doesn't do much for, it's, maybe exposure to the channel, but it's only going to be a total 10, 20 seconds of content to be viewed. It's almost like a short. So for the actual counting of the views, so no big deal there. But anyhow, that's that. So social media. This last one probably was probably the worst one I've had on Facebook. Facebook's been pretty good. I got a couple of likes though from people that it's kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, you like that? Oh, cool. I'd like to have more dialogue about that. That kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. What would you like about it? But not like a messenger. I'd rather talk to him when I see him, if I can see him, or talk to him. That's be my preference. TikTok still around 700 is great. I don't know how it happens, but it does really well. The short did really bad, and that's it. That's fine. I think this one I just posted is already tied last week, so that's good. I think one of the problems was last week I tried to do something different with the lighting in the background, with like broken blinds, and it just doesn't look very good. That probably hurt me. I'm also doing some more research on the analytics of the Instagram, let's say. So I have basically, it looks like 8 accounts that consistently view my reel, it's called, in Instagram. That's cool. So everything else is a bonus, you know. So you kind of have that as your baseline, it seems, and then whatever else is based on how good it actually is. Which this isn't very good, apparently. All right. So that's that. So I'm paying more attention to that. It's I'm finding it pretty interesting. Okay, so that's all that. Now, next, rules of engagement. Nothing to say about that. Bellevue Ballers. So we're about to start a new year. And I've been encouraged by one of my mentors, and we all have been, to have a word of the year. So my word of the year is indefatigable. How do you like that? I'm going to blow their mind, her mind, hopefully. Maybe not, but it's a good one. It's a good word, but it's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, it is, but that's the way it's got to be. Okay. Merch. And of course, with the new year, I can get to work more on that Bellevue Ballers. I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm Karen Mill thinking about it, can't act on it hardly, you know, pretty irritating. Want to take action. So, my good friend, my wife's good friend, but I value her as a friend and a promoter, supporter, Ayako, during their bread making. She's doing a bread making teaching class wearing this wonderful shirt. You know, God bless her. Thank you. But the thing, I was like, someone sees this and like, Goodyear Productions, what is it? You search it, what's going to come up? My dead website. So what am I even thinking if I'm trying to promote this if I don't have something online anymore, that is? That's got to get fixed. So I need to get back in touch with Giorgio and see if there's anything that could be done somewhat simply. Oh, sorry, going back to the YouTube channel. One of the next things I thought I can do that. Okay, so I got my mom's computer has GarageBand. Thankful for that. Thanks, Mom, for that. But it had no reception in here. What I was hoping to do is create a beat, an instrumental, and play the instrumental and rap over it as I do my intro every week. That was a goal. Maybe get a splitter, however I can connect the two audios. What's going in here plus an audio there. I don't know how to sync that, you know, on a live stream, but that's one of my goals. I say it might be easy. It sounds like it could be, but maybe it's not. I think it need some kind of splitter of some kind. I don't know. So I was going to try to talk to maybe Noah. Maybe I can ask my brother and then ask around trader musician, somebody, see who can help. But that's something that's kind of a manageable goal, and I think it would add to the show. I know Tom was asked about where's the music. I agree, man. So that's one thing I can think of how to take action on that. Okay. Trust in the thumb. One thing I'll say, this is going to be a unique election, and Grover Cleveland was Grover Cleveland, right? Yeah. Oh, there's Grover Cleveland Alexander. That was a baseball player. It was Grover Cleveland, right? He was the 22nd and 24th president, and that's what President Trump is looking to do, right? Become the second president to be reelected separately, with the president in between. And I used to have all those presidents memorized. I have a good amount of them memorized. I did that in Montessori school. Just looked at these flashcards and memorized the first, the second, and I had it down pretty good. I was interested in it. But here's what we have. It's unique. It's really good for the voter. Because what's a typical election look like? So-and-so's, maybe if they're running for re-election, there is a track record to run on versus a opponent who has no track record. So, or they have a track record as a senator or a governor, but not as the president of the United States. We actually have the opportunity to, as long as the votes are as many as possible, legitimately counted. Holy cow. But put that aside, it's just a unique opportunity where you can legitimately vote on two track records as president. it's definitely a once in a lifetime. If we have to go back to Grover Cleveland, and that would have been in he was like 22 and 24. Oh man, that's got to be around the turn of the century, right? So over 100 years, probably. I think that's right. Oh, definitely. Because if you think Teddy Roosevelt was around the turn of the century, he was 26. When was he? I think it's 26. So anyway, before him, right? So late 1800s, I'll say. It's about that turn of the century. Okay. So that was the last opportunity to vote on 2 existing track records as president. And of course, people can spin and do all that. But if you really wanted to just compare it, my man Will was talking about, it's like there's no comparison. The prices weren't nearly this bad back when Trump was president. Just basic pocketbook issues. There's just no comparison. I'm not shopping. My wife's doing the shopping, but I see the prices of gas goes up and down. It really does. They're going to add some tax. That's going to be a killer. But clearly the price, like Taco Time's like double. I would say it's literally double. But a lot of it was COVID and all this stuff. And so, during Trump's presidency, the COVID thing happened. But it's just out of control as far as the cost of going out. You literally, if someone went out to eat 2 times a week just to maintain, you're probably going out once a week, you know what I mean? Just to keep the same price. So that's the choice, and that's the thing. Even if you want to, it's just stupid. One's a business person and one's not. Is that not clear? Okay. Complete songs I've made lyrics for on YouTube. And so that would be, again, the next step back to the rhymes intro. Alex wants to make a song, a single, and that's not any of these songs. Apparently, he wants to come up with something from scratch. And so I'm literally going to write with them. I'm just going to get with them and write it. I really want to stick to what he wants to a degree. We're just going to come up with at least a framework. I can write the lyrics, but I want to sit down and start it off with, because he'll throw out ideas, but I really want to, if he doesn't like my idea, then I'm going to have to, I want to make sure it's what he likes, and then I can write it. So that's that. Current events, I kind of talked about it a little bit. I thought there was something. No, I can't really think of it. So anyhow, let's get back to the rhymes. Homeschool Grandpa. I'm on the 4th verse. I think we'll wrap it up. I did kind of end, but I didn't fully end. I could end, but I'm not gonna end like that. Okay. All right, here we are. It's called Homeschool Grandpa, right? Simple as it can be, it strikes me as quite elementary. Why are we spending our childhood in a model that can do little good? Is it not the end game to one day be productive food? In order to do that, does it require me to be at this building with these kids and these teachers for a bit more than a tid? Am I not better off asking that I get off at the next stop and hop on over to the new school with the new set of rules, that refrain you hear and wherever the marketplace is near, that the customer comes first, student driven, and the student thirst for more what they getting, and what they getting has got the status quo sweating. Excuse me, teacher, why are we here? Yes, little Johnny, you're here to get prepared for life, and I'm here to prepare you. Wonderful, Grandpa. I'm glad to know my time's not being wasted. Disenfranchised, disaffected, disheartened, dispirited, disillusioned, disenchanted, just plain dissed. Is you tired of this, getting PO'd? What to do, yo? Well, just go with the flow? Oh no, that's a no-no. Do you not know that's a no-go? If you want to get somewhere, let the others stop and stare, because if you want to get somewhere, you'll be different. You'll actually care. Excuse me, teacher. What are they learning over there? Yes, little Johnny, they are learning to get a good education so they can get a good job and they can make it. Wonderful, Grandpa. I'm glad to know my time is not being wasted. Here's the setup. You're just a unit of production. Your function is to produce, not for your own vision, but for someone else's. So jump on the Education Express and you'll get all you need for success. Just know, if you let others set your goal, you'll be their servant and you'll be full of intellect and underachievement. But is that how your life is spent? Excuse me, teacher. What's that bus? Yes, little Johnny. That's a school bus. But of course, you're not riding. You're opting for school us, right? Wonderful, Grandpa. I'm glad to know my time is not being wasted. All right. Sure. We teach addition and subtraction. What we omit amounts to addition by subtraction. Not having foisted all this fodder upon none other than the likes of my daughter, why should I send her daily across enemy lines? You wouldn't think if you didn't know better, but I know better, and it's my responsibility to protect her. No one else's. God gave me this job, and I'm going to do it as best as not to rob. I'm going to do it as best as not to rob. So the show was ending. So we got, that's 3 minutes. Man, it's 3.5 minutes, I guess. That's pretty comprehensive. Okay. No one else's. God gave me this job, and I'm going to do it as best as not to rob her of a promising future. And I can just end the song. I'm not going to redo the song. As not to rob her of a promising future. That's it. So I love, obviously, the old school hip hop. And so I was just doing some research. What happened to Eric B? I mean, they celebrate all this stuff about Rakim. Where's Eric B? What happened? What's wrong? Why don't they? It's like they can't even say his name, right? So, I guess they did reconnect Eric B and Rakim, but I was just talking about, because Eric B, as you do the research I did, said he was a DJ, learned how to DJ, and he'd go to like roller rinks or wherever you're a DJ for parties, and you sample and you want a rapper. But man, and he was a little older, early 20s. I don't remember Rakim. Yeah, I think Rakim's 5 years younger. So it's interesting because a lot, if you listen, even NWA, a lot of their samples are just kind of like speaking parts. Who do you think you are? There's, I mean, it's not just musical samples. There's a lot of little mother blanker say what, a lot of, they throw that in there, there's a ton of these little, and of course, you have Wu-Tang Clan, you got all that kind of martial arts audio clips and stuff. That is really not in hip hop. Now, I don't know if it's because of copyrights. I think maybe, but it was just, it enriched. It just gave it such a richness, Obviously, this is just speaking, these aren't samples, but again, it goes back to the DJ, being a DJ. But if you're at a roller skating party or a party, you're not going to throw in those little speaking. That's a high level of creativity and production, right? But that's something I'd like to reignite, if because I think that I hear that in some of the instrumental type stuff. Maybe it's trance or whatever. They do a lot of that kind of sampling, but I don't know about hip hop. Anyway, it's something I just thought of it really like the last day or two. It's like, man, that's just not there at all, and it was. not everybody's doing it, but a lot of these producers were. So, okay, let me get to the next song, and I'm just going to do what I came to my mind had I done what I thought I was going to do today, and I didn't. So, but it's still, the show must go on, and then the content must continue, and I'm just going to go with what I was going to do. So I'm going to call, and my man sent me a threat to the New Year's Eve, Hamas threatening, and we don't have the staff to deal with we don't have the first responders to deal with it. So we're a soft target is probably what the article is referring to. And that's what he was going to talk about. And he's not here to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. And I thought if you wanted to get on and if we get together here soon, he could get in on this song maybe if he really wanted to. But I wanted to call my dad when he'd run for office. He had a Jaeger flyer, he'd call it. He wanted to decriminalize marijuana way back when. I'm sure he was the first guy to be talking about that. And of course, that's now happened. And we've got an increase of stoners. Thank you very much. So he was into that. And what's funny about my dad, he wasn't a pot smoker at all. I don't know. I should try to think back. Why was he so for decriminalizing it? I guess he just thought it shouldn't be a crime. But anyway, it just sends a bad message to me. So I guess I want to call this the decriminalization of crime, which is, of course, lawlessness. All right. The decriminalization of crime is the name. All right. So, and I come up with stuff all the time and it just goes away because I can't remember it. That's fine. This is on my mind, so we're going to do it. All right. So, the decriminalization of crime. What are we going to do? Lawlessness. And the lawlessness and it's funny to say it, but let's try it. And the unintended consequence. This is giving people the benefit of the doubt, of course. Duress. How's your sleep doing? Ivory tower politicians here. Ivory, this disconnect, right? Politicians. I can also speak to, hold on. Straight ruin. So my dad's book was 2017 Seattle, the Heavenly City, right? The straight ruin, all right? The would-be heavenly city. The would-be heavenly city. All right? It's a shout out to my dad, right? Writes a book, 2017 Seattle, the Heavenly City. And it's not that for sure. So someone on my route is dealing with the police North Precinct, and he's a real estate person, and he's like the point person for the part of my route by Blanchette towards the freeway. And I'm gonna be interested to have more conversations with him. because that's what we're talking about. He said someone was pounding on some neighbor's door for an hour and a half, and the police cannot come unless there is breaking an entry or a weapon shown. Until that, he can just pound away and ruin your night and your day. Till next time, back to the rhymes.